should have been able to pick up a agenda and minutes from last month's meeting. At this point, we have 15 members in the room. If you not have 15 members in the room, you cannot vote on approval of any action or anything like that. Right, okay? All right, so, yes, once we get one more member in the room. Yeah. Also, we have that. Sarah's not a member. But yeah, Sarah's not a member. One more person comes through, we'll have a quorum and then we can vote on it. So skipping approval of the minutes, that would be the reason why. Bear with me. All right, let's do this. First item on here is the roll call. Okay. All right, so let's start from my far left to right, state your name and okay. Okay, any date here present. Okay, then we have Deborah Rogers who is present. And I believe we have Tracy Ward actually called. We have absent, we have Carol Smith, and we have absent. All right. You should have some minutes in front of you. And have you had a chance to look over those minutes? So, I will need a motion to accept the minutes. Second. Motion to accept the minutes. Made by Sherry Collins. Motion to accept the minutes. Is there a second on that motion? Oh, and George. Seconding that. All in favor, show by sign of aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? All right, we're gonna jump right in. I think we have our fire department and we have okay. All right, so fire department, do me a favor. Okay, yes, when you because he's recording it so we can post on Facebook, it's important that you're speaking in the mic. Everyone speak clearly in the mic so we can do that.
Certainly. Mic check. Is that good for you?
Yes.
All right, so my name's Lieutenant Dunham. I'm from Engine 2, Ladder 2 on Seymour. We're just going to have totals for last month. The winter's starting to ramp up. It's being a lot busier. So I'll break these totals down into three things. We have a ladder truck there. We have an engine. We also have a medic transport unit. So last month, the ladder truck had 237 runs. We had 26 structure fires and or still alarms. So we cover a large area. We cover North College Hill, the 51s. We cover all the way down to the 9s, Victory Parkway, the 38s, all the way down into Estee, that area. We cover Pleasant Ridge, almost all the way to the edge of the city in Silverton. So that ladder truck covers probably one of the wider areas in Cincinnati. On a typical structure fire response, there's usually 3 ladder trucks always dispatched to that. So the total runs we had last month was 26 fire runs, which is a lot busier than we normally were the year before. We had 32 of those 237 runs were lockouts, fumes, fire alarms, hydrants struck, things like that, wires down. Those all are considered non-structure fire, but fire response runs. And that left us with 179 EMS runs. Our total average on the ladder trucks about 8 a day is what we make. Now, Engine 2 actually was the second busiest engine in the city last year. So last month they made 400 runs. They they don't make as many structure fire responses. They're like 82, 83% EMS. So they made 360 runs for EMS and also 14 fire incidents and then additional others. We also have a medic transport unit that made close to 450 runs last month. Now, all the medic units cover the entire city. They're dispatched via AVL and satellites, so whoever's closest to whatever incident gets dispatched with a fire truck. So they had an average of about 12.8, and the ambulances had an average of about 13.5. So out of that firehouse, we average about 30 runs a day. On a real busy day, can get up to 40. So those are the totals I have for you last month. Now, we get this from fire prevention every month, and the topic that we're going to have is fire safety during cold winter months. So early in the fall, we always indicate, hey, check your furnace, check your fireplace, make sure you use creosote logs, that those are cleaned out. A lot of people will attempt to use like space heaters inside. That's something that we are concerned with, because if they're not UL approved or they're cheap space heaters, those lead to a lot of structure fires. Secondly, during the winter months, we have a lot of extension cord abuse. If you hook too many things in, if you hook a space heater into like an extension cord junction box, it's automatically going to heat that up, overwhelm that. We see a lot of fires from that. We have a lot of CO runs during the winter. If furnaces hasn't been taken care of, hot water heaters have problems. We make a lot of fumes and a lot of carbon monoxide runs. So we always suggest at least having 2 smoke detectors in your house, 1 on the first level, 1 on the second level, and also having CO detectors, basement and first floor minimal, because CO rises. Most of the things it's going to come from are going to be a water heater, a furnace, or a stove on the first floor. But if you have those outside your sleeping quarters, you have them on mobile levels of your houses, and you have basically duplication. If one fails, you're going to have one that's still operational. But that's really all I have for this month. I was asked by a gentleman about smoke detectors. Red Cross used to give us plenty, and they used to give us CO detectors prior to the pandemic. But like everything else, with production problems, not being able to get the parts, not being able to produce them at the factory, we do not get those anymore. You can always contact fire prevention on the city's website, but they will probably refer you over to Red Cross on Dana. So if you need smoke detectors, try to contact them and see if they have any excess. But it's probably been 2 or 3 years since we've got a large supply of those. I'll have people here and there call the firehouse, like, do you have CO, do you have smoke detectors? And we don't get those. But we can certainly look up where we can forward you to get those things. So that's all I have this month. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I do. I just want, came in indoor generators. I think maybe someone else may want to use the indoor generator, especially with all this coldness coming up, or whatever happens, and we lose power. So just to give them a brief or summary of the benefits or non-benefits of generators.
So there's not very many good benefits of using a generator if it's a gas-powered generator. A, it's gas. B, it produces fumes. I've had people run generators outside their house, and they've had vents open, and it brings those fumes in the house. If you do have CO detectors, it'll set that off. If you don't, you're going to get sick, and you're going to be transported to the hospital. That's really dangerous, not really from a fire standpoint, but the fumes and what it does to your home and stuff like that. People have power backups that they buy, and you can go to some of these, hardware stores. If you have it out on a deck, if you have it far enough away from your house and you have a cord that can run in, you can run some appliances like that. But I would Google it. I would look it up. If you need to go to a hardware store and talk to someone that's a professional about those devices and how they can safely run, I would research it a lot before you buy one. A, you don't want to waste your money and get something that's not safe, and depends how far in the backyard. Do you have it on your deck? Do you have it in the driveway? The winds will, if you have a window open, the winds are going to still push it in if it's gas powered. So, there are power options, but you just want to go ahead and research that. But if it's gas powered, I wouldn't have it inside and or close to your home.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. George, you have a question?
They're quite expensive. I mean, I know that Ryobi or or some of the larger generators are probably close to 7,000 to a grand. They may power your refrigerator and maybe a couple other things. But if you're looking at a whole house type solution, it gets into the $1,000. So I've been here for multiple storms that have caused power outages. We have this weekend coming up with 50-mile-an-hour winds. Hopefully Duke's going to be on that, but I'm sure there's going to be areas that are without power. We just look at it from a safety perspective of if it's gas powered and it's generating fumes, that should not be in the house or even close to the house. And then, like I was saying to her, you just have to research other alternatives. Just Google, look it up, do some reading, see what works best, and then call some of these companies and say, what's a good solution if we have power out? I know the really good solutions are probably in the $1,000 range, if not more. But that's for massive power outages for days, and that'll power everything in your house. Or contact an electrician, they may be able to help.
All right.
Does the Red Cross have?
The Red Cross has smoke detectors. I've never talked to them about having CO. I know those are starting to get a little pricier. They're probably 25 to 50 for a good CO detector. You can always call the Red Cross over on Dana. I think it's just part of, do they get stock from companies that give to the Red Cross? Because that's all donated. So somebody will donate $100,000 worth of detectors, and the Red Cross disperses it to their local cities in Ohio, and it just depends what they get in. So you can call them during business hours and say, I need smoke detectors, but do you have CO as well?
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your service.
You're welcome. You guys have a good day.
All right. But next we'll have our report from the police department, our great public servants. We appreciate you all.
On the investigative unit, we had a very good fourth quarter in shootings, which would cover October, November, December. We only had 3. They all occurred in December, unfortunately. December 10th, we had one up on New Bedford. We've signed a warrant on that shooter, so we'll get that case closed. Christmas Eve, we had a shooting that's been deemed self-defense. Gentleman's car is being broken into. He came out, confronted the individual, went to pull a firearm. He shot at him, and that's going to be self-defense. And then on New Year's Eve, we had one on Don. That individual was arrested and charged with murder. We believe it may be an accidental, but he didn't make a statement, and the facts that led us to that led them to go ahead and charge him with murder on that case. So all 3 of the Roselawn ones have been solved. The one we're just waiting for an arrest on. And as we know, Reading Road's still been good to us, so we're still working on that. We've been working with the clubs and the bars up there still, so we're good to go. Property crime's all good. We're down on everything else, so I think that's all I have.
We got new recruits that just graduated, so we got a new police officer in District 4 as well as transfers. We got 9 additional that came to District 4, so we're out on the street.
Great. You have Vashti has a question?
Still working on it. Yeah, unfortunately.
Question. Question from
Yes, ma'am.
Door George has a question.
Was the young lady killed?
Yes, that's the New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we believe that was on New Year's Eve. We believe it was probably accidental, but based on the lack of cooperation from the gentleman there, charging him with murder.
Trustee Foster.
The graffiti, grifts, that is popping up everywhere.
Trust me, I've already started. I got our social media people on it. We've looked at his Instagram. We don't know who it is. So what we're going to have to do is try to get a court order, get a subpoena, get to Instagram to get profile information on that. So if you see spots, if you want to email a picture and the address to Officer Brooks, she'll get it to me. I've already started a file. I got about 20 spots.
There's 2 more that just popped up in Pleasant Ridge.
I'm talking from 6th Street Viaduct on the west side to the overpass on Victory Parkway to up here at California and Reading. I mean, me and Sergeant Meister every day, if he sees it, he sends it to me, and I got a Word document. And we have our crime people, our social media people looking for it as well. So we're good. We're on it. We're trying. Yes, ma'am.
Was there a question?
We good?
Okay, we're good.
All right, everybody have a good month.
Thank you. We appreciate you all.
See you guys next month.
just want to say I'm glad everybody is out today. I am here to give an update on the office relocation. So the Roselawn Community Council is now where our working office, where we're going to be getting us to where we can have our committee meetings and doing the actual work as a trustee board, has been moved to 7710 Reading Road, Suite 107. We're very thankful for the volunteers that showed up to make that happen. We also pulled in a couple of male volunteers from Black Art Speaks to help us move the heavy stuff like the copiers and
Yes, thank you.
and so forth.
Black Art
So
Speaks
thank
for
you
doing
to
that.
Black Art Speaks. We appreciate them. They've been really great. Mr. Christian Dry, who is also a representative of Black Art Speaks, has been faithfully recording the meetings for us to continue to post them online. I'm going to go right down into a brief state of Roselawn and what we're trying to accomplish. As your, newly elected president, I've talked with several organizations in the neighborhood and identified some major needs. The lighting, for one, over near Brookcrest, is very dark over there. Have you all seen how dark that is? So we're really talking with the city about improving the lighting over there. One of the other greatest passions that I think is for all of us is that our young people need some activity. Um, we're actually speaking with Vice Mayor Kearney and Recreation Department to see if we can look at renting some space, just like Great Parks rent some space at New Prospect. We're looking into trying to rent some space to where our Roselawn youth will have something to do. And of course, partnering with the Reds Urban Youth Academy. This summer is going to be a very busy one. Wherever you all can volunteer at is really crucial. We always need volunteers in every capacity, and I'll let people speak to their committees as they come forward. Kim Gill is also not able to be with us on this evening. However, the trustees have a financial report, but if I can get someone to come and give a copy of the financial report to members, so you'll make sure you have it. It is an overview. It is an unaudited overview right now of January 1st through December 31st. So what will actually happen, thank you. Yeah, the trustees have one, yeah. What will actually happen is that an auditor will go through the records with Kim Gill, and as we pull together that particular committee and line by line to make sure that those items are correct. So what you basically will see on side one is called a statement activity for nonprofits. That is the same as an income and expense statement for for-profit entities. It basically shows what income came into the Roselawn Community Council and what expenses were paid. The flip side of that shows it's called the Statement of Financial Position Summary. It is basically a balance sheet that shows what assets that the Roselawn Community Council has currently. I will let you know, just for the record, we have just, of course, as of a month and a half ago, integrated into QuickBooks. So a lot of where you see, right now, you'll see in-kind contributions at 500. And what that means is that people who have donated professional services or products or something like that, that number is actually higher. And so what will happen when the financial statements are audited, you'll see the exact figures. But right now you have a rough figure of what was put in, like what checks were written. The other thing that an audit will reveal is if something was recorded in the wrong category, like we were able to receive, I believe there were 2 major grants that came in, like for the fall festival and for the first financial. So if you don't see that reflected right on the balance sheet, that's something that will be corrected within the audit. But I do want to give, in her absence, give a big giant hand to Kimberly Gill, because that was a lot of work to go back and pull all that information together. But once the information is in there and they're knowing how and where to put it, then it's just a simple click of a button to provide those financial statements to you all, so you have some transparency on how the money is spent. So are there any questions before I leave the floor and go into our committee reports. Is there any questions? Yes, Roy Jones. I believe some of the fees came from getting extra bank statements. Once we found out that that was occurring, she's now signed up for
It has been. Taken-
electronic
It's been
banking.
taken, it
Yeah.
has been taken care of.
Yes.
Online. We can print them ourselves. We don't need-
Yes. Yes. Oh, she can request a refund? Okay,
We
so
have-
what,
We have not requested.
we have not requested a refund, but thank you for that advice, that wise counsel, that we will make it a part of our notes to request a refund. All right, are there any other questions? Thank you all for your patience with us. We are moving, technology is so crucial. We're trying our best to move forward and serve you to the best of our capacity. And we appreciate you whatever skills that you have out there. There are so many areas that need volunteering in. And if you've got ideas, your ideas, because we're here to serve you, this is your community council. So without further ado, youth and education update. I don't have a detailed report, but basically, did Tracy give anybody the detailed report? I didn't pull it out of the shared folder. But right now, she's actually serving on the LSDMC, has done a lot of integrated activity with the youth of Roselawn through her nonprofit that she runs, BYE Institute. They're actually providing some internships that they can pay the young people to assist in some areas. So I know they'll be assisting with community history, the youth will be assisting with cleanup, and the youth will be assisting this summer as we begin to do some of the arts outreach that's going forward. All right, any questions in general? Not any detailed questions about youth and education, because I'm only able to answer so much, but I'm gonna turn it over to Bosede for update on community history. She'll be followed by Vashti, and then she'll be followed by Carla Foster. Thank you. If you remember last month, we talked about the story gathering project that we're gonna do in partnership with the Pictures Worth. I have talked to some of you individually about participation in the story gathering event. We have a date tentatively scheduled for Saturday, January 27th, here at the school from 1 to 4. That's not firm, but it's going to either be that weekend or the following weekend. So we will have flyers printed up. We will have it posted on the Facebook page as well as the website. If you know anybody who's interested in participating, I know a couple people have reached out to me to say, when can I show up? How much does it pay? For each contributor of each story, you get a $20 stipend. You do not have to be a Roselawn resident. You just have to come prepared to talk about a memory or memories of Roselawn, a landmark, an occasion, and bring your friends, bring your family. We'll probably break out in little sessions and have these stories recorded. And just keep in mind that this is going to be preserved forever and ever in the public library archive. So when you look up Roselawn history right now, there's not a really good representation of what is happening in Roselawn from a historical perspective. So if you want to change that and you want to be part of legacy building and community building in Roselawn, please show up and contribute to this project so that we can go on in perpetuity. So, any questions? Okay. I think that would be okay. Yeah. Yeah, but there will be, just keep in mind, there will be multiple events. This is just our first event that's going to be held end of January, early February. So we're going to have multiple events, so people have an opportunity to participate more than once.
I think there's one question from trustee Martin.
Can we make preparations to go to the senior communities and solicit stories from them along with the members in conjunction with the membership drive?
We can talk about that. There are some requirements around what type of space we need to be in for acoustic purposes. Because these recorders that we're using and the equipment that we're using are provided through a Pictures Word. That doesn't belong to us. So in order for the sound quality to be up to par, there are some requirements that they have provided in terms of what type of space we can use. So I'll table that. I'll talk to our contact there and see if that would be possible. But for now, our first event is going to be focused around gathering together in one meeting place. And that will be here, likely. So, any other questions? Okay.
Thank you so much.
January, it's tentative, but we'll make sure we get a communication out via email, website, Facebook, but it's tentatively scheduled for January 27th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. here at the school. That's a Saturday.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Happy, what's today? Thursday. Happy Thursday. I'm Vashti. I'm the lawn safety chair. I wanted to just restate what we talked about last month. The lawn safety monthly meetings have moved to the third Monday of every month. So our next meeting is going to be this upcoming Monday, which is MLK Day, the 15th from 7 to 8 p.m. That's happening virtually. There's a Google Meet invitation that if you signed up for, you should have received that. And I did see that a lot of people went in and accepted the new meeting. So thank you for doing that. If you haven't signed up and you're interested in signing up for the Lawn Safety Committee, reach out to me. My email is vonugwu@roselawncc.org. We have a lot of good programs coming up this year that we're working on, and we need the brain power of the community. So if you want to contribute, please don't hesitate to get involved. There was one last thing. Oh, we have t-shirts. So we have a bunch of t-shirts for Law and Safety Committee. So if you want to receive a shirt, more incentive to join. So that's something we'll talk about at our next meeting. But yeah, those are the updates I have. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Carla Foster is going to cover beautification.
Good evening, everyone. Beautification this time of the year usually doesn't have anything, but we have partnered with Great Parks to do an MLK cleanup of the area right around this area, actually. This will start at 10 a.m. on Martin Luther King Day. We will be meeting at the Great Parks facility located behind Turning Point. New Prospect Church. Those that are out there on YouTube, if you see this, please come out and join. There is also a sign-up sheet on our website, or a QR code, I believe it is. It's a QR code. But nonetheless, also beautification is in works with people working cooperatively to try and get the seniors a raised garden bed. So hopefully we can get that achieved this spring. And that is all beautification has. So are there any questions?
Okay, Door George. Yes, ma'am.
Just pick up the trash literally right around here on the school, by the school. We would like to get all the way down to the end of Summit and back through Crest Hills, this part of the neighborhood. So we're hoping that we can do that, but hopefully the weather will be what it will be. So that is still the plan, is to try and get all the way down to the end of Summit where it meets Reading Road, and to try and get all of Greenland right here by the school, and then maybe down Crest Hills and try to hit some of the side streets. And that is dependent upon the amount of volunteers that we have. So that's why I'm saying, please, as everyone else has said, come out and volunteer to help clean up the community, because just 2 or 3 people out there, it does a dent. It makes a dent, but we want to total the car.
Yes, Pastor.
Yes, they are going through, I don't know if anyone has seen, but they have been going through, tearing up the roots, digging up, or stump grinding the stumps. Right now, they have been, at least, I guess they're working their way out, but they have been out, grinding the stumps. And then once the stumps are grounded, then there should be a planting. Trees should be coming out. There has been several more trees come out. I know they can't plant during the winter months because once the ground gets cold, it's not feasible. But come springtime, once, I know they're grinding stumps over the winter, so come springtime, then we can have a more plentiful planting of the trees that have been taken down by the city. That is our first priority right now, is to get the trees that were cut down replaced.
Oh, I'm sorry, where specifically are those?
The new ones have been planted on Centerville. I don't know if they're new trees, and I called them the Dr. Seuss trees because they're really small right now and only get a little plumage. But right now there has been 8 replanted on Centerville, and I think some more on the side streets like Larchwood. So I think they're working their way through Roselawn right now. And if you notice some of the stump grinding, it'll just look like a puddle of mud in one center. So once they have grounded, then we know that is a more viable spot, because they just been like replanting them in the grounded stump. I didn't know you can do that, but evidently you can.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. We are trying, fingers crossed, because my mom is part of the Sandra Bland Center, and she has been on me about these raised garden beds. The plan is to try and have them ready by the spring so that the seniors can plant during the planting season, which is usually around May. So hopefully, if weather permits, we will get those beds built and placed at the Sandra Bland Center. Well, that we haven't dictated all of that, like how much space or how big the bed will be. Right now, I'm estimating maybe 2 or 3 large 4-foot garden beds that's raised at waist height. And then we will have to go from there, because it's dependent upon the materials that we already have. And we just need to see how much we can build with that. Oh, the ones that's
Okay.
already there. Oh, that's easy, since those are already there. You can speak to me after this and we can have a conversation.
One more question, Trustee Foster, from,
Yes.
Can you help us, or do you know who to contact so that we might be able to get, I'm gonna call it community garbage cans or community cans on Summit? Because when Anita and we have to go out and clean up.
Yes.
We have nowhere to take this
To
trash.
put the trash, I know every trash can in Roselawn pretty much, because there's only one down here at like Stillwell and Summit. That was the only one. There was one across the street here on Greenland and Summit right across the street, and they moved that.
They took them away, and
Right.
it's really hard to do the cleanup. The only available thing is the school's dumpster, and I don't know if we should be putting the stuff in there, for one, and then 2, we don't want to transport all that trash because there's some stuff in
Yes.
our trunks.
to
Yes.
take there. So we really
Understood.
need those cans because it's
Yes.
real trashy.
We can request, I forgot the lady's name, but I do know, I do have a contact of the head of
Okay.
whatever to request new trash cans because on Reading Road, they had them all on one side and I had half of them moved to the other side. Because it's like people walk on both sides of the street while the trash cans just literally heading southbound. So, yes, we can request additional trash cans. They kind of be iffy about it, but we can request them long as we know where they need to be, what spots that you need them at.
Okay. So what we'll do after the meeting, we'll get those locations down and get that taken care of. Yes, trustee Boseman? Okay.
Well,
So
we'll
we'll-
just keep beating that drum.
Yes.
We'll just keep beating that drum.
Yes, we will follow up. Thank you so much. Do you have a question, trustee?
Okay.
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 All right.
Thank you, trustee Foster. All right, our final two presentations will be newsletter, trustee Boseman will give us an update, and membership, Sherry McGee will give us an update on just, and even maybe recruit some folks on your plans for membership. Okay, yeah, so after trustee Boseman.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Since I had joined council when we were originally meeting here in the library, I pushed and pushed and pushed to get our newsletter back out. Is now back out. For the most part, when it is done using NSP funds, which is money we get a certain time of the year. What I'd like to see happen this time around, I'm not for sure where we are in relations to our IT person and who else can update our website. I would possibly like to see something on the website on a monthly basis. I've requested, when I've gone out and delivered them by hand, I've requested the businesses, people in the neighborhood, whoever, whatever, you have anything submitted. I get absolutely nothing. So basically the newsletter is being pushed, just telling it like it is because of me. There is no newsletter committee, because I can take anything at any time. All you need to do, if you have something, an idea or anything, you can send an email to the office, put newsletter in that subject line, your contact information, and I will definitely be in touch. Something I've requested recently, still don't get nothing. I would like to start doing articles on long-living citizens in the neighborhood who contributed or something along those lines, anything to keep the newsletter going, because I don't want to see it die again. Yes, ma'am. Right now, when we do our NSP newsletter, is based on when we get that funded, and that's when we do that booklet. What I would like to see changed is we do a monthly article. If you have something, because like right now, I am going to work on something cold weather, kind of along with fire we're talking about, something along those lines, just something so that there's still a website that still has useful information. So whenever you get it to me, if it's enough, and wherever we are at with our IT person and our other person that could do it, it's as simple as if it's nothing but a one-page article, get it posted on a website. So whenever you get it, have something, get it to me. That easy. That's it. Any questions? Any more questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you, trustee Boseman. Our final presentation will come from trustee McGee.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sherry. Can you hear me? I'd like to thank, first of all, our new members that joined in December because I thought that was the greatest month we had since I've been on council. And if it's okay, I just want them to wave their hand and thank them.
Okay.
Something so everybody know they're here, and also ask if anybody's interested in working on the committee, on the membership committee, out with new people and try and go forward, maybe get some ideas like Rory and I talked about getting gift cards and going to the senior buildings, but we gotta wait on the NSP funds or the budget being approved for 2024 first for that. In the meantime, like I said, if anybody got any ideas, I'd be grateful just to talk with you after meeting. And that's all my report. Anybody got any questions? Thoughts?
Dora George, yes, ma'am.
Yes. No. The membership, okay, was about 10 people in that one meeting. Usually we get maybe 1, 2, sometimes 3, but I thought that was great for one meeting. So I just wanted to make note of that in hopes that maybe we can tell somebody else and maybe get another great month like that. But anyway, thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. You all have been doing great. Just as I kind of recap, in the next month, you will see a projected budget. So basically, you have this year's financials on how we spent. What we will do at the beginning of next meeting is prepare a projected budget for you all to see what we're going to be spending money on. I do know that the police department has contacted me regarding a combined national night out again and some other things that are occurring. But at least you'll see the projections. You'll be having the annual report as well. We value any suggestions that you all have. So like after I officially adjourn this, if there's something you want to see in Roselawn, remember this is all of our community council and your ideas are so valuable. And we definitely appreciate the wise counsel that comes from the floor, even with the mentioning of knowing how to go about requesting refunds for bank fees. So we respect and appreciate the wisdom of the elders and definitely need your help. If there are not any further questions or comments or concerns, I will hit this gavel and officially, actually get a motion. I'm sorry, I'm ready to dive right in here. I won't hit the gavel yet. May I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Motion made by Anita Boseman to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second by Carla Foster. All in favor, show by a sign of aye. Aye. Any opposed to adjourning this meeting? All right, now I get to hit the gavel. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.